Okay, now I can begin animating this, and what I want is the viewer to see this, uh, for maybe I want the letter forms to come together in various animations, and the viewer will see this at the end, maybe for like the last second or so. So this is what I want them to see, okay, at the end. So let's move the playhead to like maybe 70, and for the exercise we're doing in my class, we're just going to use 90 frames, so I would suggest you know, do pretty much the same that I'm demonstrating here. So playhead is at 70. This is where I want my letter forms. Let's say I'm going to have the capital W move in from the left, and it'll end up here. So I'll select W in the object manager, and just let me enable, just in case I want to change the scale or rotate it, I'm just going to enable all of these parameters in the coordinates for the W. So at frame 70, this is what the W looks like. Let me put the playhead to 0, okay, and I'll move the W off the stage. So at 0, so now I got to like reset all these parameters. So the only one that changed was the X parameter for this one. So I'll just make sure that that's enabled, and then when I hit the playhead, not the playhead, when I hit the play button, the W should move to its original location at frame 70, and then there should be a pause, then it should just rest there. So let's hit the play button, and there it is. Okay, so let's say that that's pretty boring, so I'm gonna move the playhead to 0 again, and let's say I want to rotate the W so it comes in spinning. Okay, well, I can't see the W because I'm in my locked render cam mode here, so let me disable the render cam, and I'll go back to my default camera where I can like scroll out and all that other stuff. The W is selected, and what I'll do is I'll change the rotation of this. I'll just spin it around this axis here, and let's say I'll make it like let's make it something crazy like 360, so it'll spin a whole bunch. And then so this is the parameter I changed. It's yellow, so I got to make sure that the playhead is at 0, and I'm going to enable this. And now let me go back to my render cam, let me hit the play button, and it comes in spinning, so that's cool. Alright, and like if I want to make that more severe, I could increase the the parameter from 360 to some larger number. Alright, so what I'm going to do is do something interesting like that for all the letter forms, and the same process that I just showed you. So like maybe the O will come up from the top, maybe the small W is way back here. Another thing you can do, remember, you can scale things down to 0, and let me demonstrate that just for the heck of it. So remember this whole playhead thing. So like again at 70, put the playhead at 70, and this is where you want to have everything established. So the playhead is at 70, so let me animate the letter O. So I'm going to select O in the object manager. I'm going to enable animation on all of these parameters because I don't know, because I might want to change all of them. I don't know. So that was it with the playhead at 70. Now move the playhead to 0. How do you want this guy to start out? Well, like what I'm going to do is I'm going to change the scale values all to 0, and so like there's nothing there, right? And then playhead is at 0. I changed all these parameters, so I got to like make sure that I'm making keyframes for all those parameters. Now when I hit the play button, this is the animation I have so far. The W is swinging in, and the O is appearing out of nowhere. All right, The only other thing I'm going to touch on, so you would like animate each letter form in your own interesting way. Now, if you want to, and these have to, for the assignment, there has to be materials applied to these. I would also suggest, in fact, let's say if you want to make a floor. So this thing is sitting on a floor, and then you could put a light in there to cast some shadows. It'd be very, very interesting. I think that's what you should do. So like all of the floor, the letter forms need to have materials applied to them. There has to be at least one light casting a shadow. The one thing with the colors, which I touched on in the previous video, so let's say like I want well, I'll just apply the color blue to all of them, right? I'll just drop it into the extrude, okay? Suppose I want one of the letter forms to be a different color. If that's the case, let's say I want the small letter O to be red, okay? Even though that's not the greatest color choice in the world, but so what I'm going to have to do is come over here and click, hold, and drag and pull the small letter O out from under the extrusion. Then I'm going to have to make a new extrusion. Okay, and I'll stick my little letter O in there. And what I would do at this point, if you're going to do this, I would name these, you know, like this extrude has WW and exclamation point. So just to keep things straight, I would always rename your objects in your object manager just so you can keep them straight here. And just to be neat, I'm going to move this down here so it's all right. So for now, for the little O, let's say I'm going to make it red, and then when I hit my play button, that's what I got, which is cool. And so now, like, if I wanted to, I could have the, for example, just like I showed in a previous video, and I believe I inadvertently moved my, oh, did I or didn't I? Yeah, for some odd reason, I moved the Y parameter of my O here. That was a mistake. And I'm not going to fix it right now because I want to, or is that right? I don't know. Yeah, for some reason my O is too high there. Let me just move it down. I have no idea how that happened. I think I must have grabbed it by mistake when I was moving the floor around. So let me just fix that. Now everything is cool. All right, sorry about that little interlude. All right, so suppose I want the O to change from red to blue. You know, I did this before, so I could double click on the texture tag. I could enable the animation for the color here, you know, and that's what I want to end it on. Drag the playhead to 0, and I'll start. It'll start out as blue, and then it'll go to red. Okay. All right, so that's your mission. Make an interesting animation with the letter forms. It has to have a floor. The floor has to have some kind of material applied to it. All the letter forms have to have material applied, and there has to be at least one light and also shadows with this.